In the summer of 1974, Ileana Citaristi came from small-town Bergamo in northern Italy, where she was born, and stepped on the shores of India for the first time. But her greatest discovery was dance.
Everything was really like a dream come true, and by coming away from the familiarity of my ambience, where everything was easier for me, and going towards the uncertain and how to react day by day to whatever life was offering. And so it was an absolutely unplanned trip.
Ileana's love affair with Indian dance began in Venice in 1978.
At this point, I came across another type of theatre, which was more physical. This actor, Krishna Nambudiri, was actually demonstrating how each part of the body could be used to express something, what was the meaning behind, what was the grammar of the body.
Immediately, Ileana went backstage and asked if she could learn from him. Krishna Nambudiri invited her to attend a workshop in Kerala to learn the 17th century elaborate dance drama, Kathakali.
I reached Kerala in '78, and I did 3 months workshop of Kathakali, at the end of which I performed, and in that small room in the village where we were learning. It was such a revelation, such a strong experience, that performance.
She had a moment of epiphany as a young dancer. She had to speak through her eyes. An intuitive arching of an eyebrow was a breakthrough moment, as it allowed her facial expressions to extend the space for her dance.
After this, I just couldn't think that everything was over. So I asked him what else I could learn. He told me there is another beautiful style which is called Odyssey, and it is in Orissa. And so I just took out the map and found out. I had not heard about Orissa before.
Armed with only a suitcase, she arrived at the doorstep of Sanjukta Panagrahi to learn Odyssey, a traditional dance form which originated in the temples of Orissa and dates back to 1st century BC. Though Ileana went back to Italy after a month of instruction, she vowed to return to India. Soon, Ileana was unable to deny her passion for dance any longer. Coming from a traditional Catholic family in Italy, it was not easy breaking the news to her parents.
My father was very authoritative and very strong personality in the house. I was very obedient to him when I was a small kid. I was sent to classical ballet when I was 8 years old. Then when my school became a little more engaging and I had to go in the afternoon also, then they just stopped it. As I said, I was too obedient to think, to rebel, but I always was very sad about that, and whenever I was watching anything of dance in television, I used to go in my room and cry and all this thing. When I was 14 years old, at that time I started to rebel. Started to go against whatever my family was telling me, and I started to stop going to church, taking part in the students' movement in my college, all the procession in the road and political arrest. I was always a leader in whatever in my town is a provincial town, so I was one of the first one to wear miniskirt and break all the rules and going against convention.
Apart from theatre, Ileana, who holds a doctorate in philosophy, became interested in Eastern philosophy.
I shifted my university from Milano to Venice. Venice was like a bridge towards the East for us, because there was an Eastern language faculty in the university. So I could continue my examination by doing this Japanese philosophy examination, Indian mythology, Indian art. For me it was not only studies, but my philosophy of life, my approach and attitude towards life was also of that type. I was alert of whatever was happening around me. It was living moment by moment, life as it is.
In 1979, Ileana decided to come back to India. What was supposed to be a 6-month lesson to learn Odissi dance turned into the spiritual Odyssey of a lifetime, one where her greatest achievement was receiving the Padma Shri in 2006, the highest award in India given by the President of the country. When Ileana came to learn Odissi dance from the legendary guru, Kelucharan Mahapatra, she intended to stay in Cuttack for only 6 months. 27 years later, she has found her home in India. In Cuttack, Ileana stayed in a little room above an Indian family.
We are in Cuttack, where I stayed for 12 years, and this is the place where I stayed. It looks so small. It was looking so big to me. Anyway, I had just a bed and one table here, and the kitchen stuff was on this here. This was the view near the river. I always feel at home when I come back here. It's such an incredible memory. It's similar to the attachment which I have for the village where my grandmother is in Italy. Cuttack is a big village, and my grandmother was staying in a village. So the village life is always different from the town. I never felt alone even for a single second. On 12 years I was in Cuttack. And everybody's house was open to me, and I was the only foreigner. So I depended a lot from hospitality. And the people here are so hospitable. When I came to Cuttack, I had to become a kid once again, and I had to learn how to walk all over again because I was learning dance. This was my letterbox.
For 12 years, Ileana would ride her little scooter to a brick and cement cottage hidden in one of the alleys in Cuttack. There, she immersed herself in the religion of dance.
Guruji's house, which he made by himself. For 12 years I came here every day, and this was my main target, how not to miss these classes. This was the place where I had to reach. Once I went inside here, everything disappeared.
The bamboo roof, the floral design painted on the floor in the room. Everything is still there, though its glory faded with time. But the memory of Ileana's visits to the Guru's home still remains untouched.
When Guruji was giving classes in a workshop, and workshop of 1 month or a 15-day intensive workshop, and from morning to night it was going on. And I was always the last one to leave the house, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the night. And the other way, if the workshop was not there, then Guruji maybe was doing some composition with some senior dancer. So I will be watching that. In that way, there was not regular classes all through the year. Whatever the action which were going on in the house by his wife, the rituals, were all interconnected with the dance. In the morning, the first thing she do this prayer to the sun, and the way which kind of hand gesture she does. All these are related to what we are dancing. Whatever was happening here, it was. Our eyes were imbibing all these things and would remain with us forever, and all these things were contributing to our understanding the culture, the context where the dance was born. This is called Guru Shishya Parampara. It is living in the same house with the Guru.
Kelucharan Mahapatra, Ileana's dance guru, also became her spiritual guide.
Relationship has not always been easy. I am very greedy in a way. I wanted to learn everything and I wanted to be present every time.
And when Ileana had her first solo performance, he dressed her up completely and told her, "Watch properly, as from now onwards you will have to do everything on your own." Learning how to put on her first sari, Ileana immersed herself not only in the Indian dance, but the Indian culture and way of life as well.
I developed very slowly the taste for saris. It is such an elegant dress. Whenever I move from my own place to travel, always sari, especially in Italy. Italy, I wouldn't wear anything else except sari. I don't have any more dress because when I was here for 6 years, my mother, I think she has vacated all my cupboard and given away all my mini skirt and jeans and everything.
As her appearance transformed, so did the entirety of her being.
What type of English is coming out, I don't know. I somehow very quickly pick up the accent. Even when I talk Oriya, they feel that I talk Oriya like a Kataki, that means a person from Cuttack. And my accent is lightly South Orissa.
The Indian sari she wears, the silver jewelry she custom makes for her dance performances, the Indian accent in her English. Her transformation into an Indian dancer is finally complete.
I was remembering him not only in dance. Through his eyes, I enter into this culture. So he was in many places, in many unexpected way. I was remembering him. Anyway, I stayed with him up to the end. I never had any doubt that I had the right guru. And then I wrote a book on him, and so when he died, I was one of the first one to reach there.
As Kelucharan Mahapatra returns to the soil, he will be remembered as an exceptional man, a genius who never went to school, a man born in the village of Raghurajpur, whose father was a musician, and the family used to make scroll paintings, and a man whose name had become synonymous with Odyssey. After 12 years in Cuttack, Kelucharan Mahapatra, or Guruji as Ileana affectionately calls him, moved to Bhubaneswar, the capital of Orissa.
So at that point, Guruji had already moved to Bhubaneswar. I decided, okay, then maybe it's time to move. And the first night I spent in Bhubaneswar in a rented house, I cried. I said, my God, what am I doing in this place? I was missing Cuttack a lot.
She missed Cuttack in a way she had never even missed Italy. 1984, 6 years after Ileana settled in Cuttack, she returned to Italy. But all she could think about was going back to India, which she did after 3 weeks. And when her parents visited her in Cuttack, it was clear to them she had found her home.
That time I had a little bit of problem to the knee because suddenly I started dancing Odissi and chow and cycling the entire day. So my father said, okay, I'll buy you a moped. And to me it was looking like a very big thing, and this moped is still with me and I have not left.
27 years later, her little scooter sits comfortably in the garage of her home in Bhubaneswar, which she built in 1997. It is where she runs the Art Vision Dance Academy, an institute she founded. It is a place where artists can collaborate and share ideas, and where she teaches dance to children and young adults.
I conceive it. Some architect put it down on paper. It is my space, which I wanted it like this and I did it like this.
And it is in this space where she became an Indian dancer in her own right, receiving the highest accolades in Indian dance.
जी वो हमारे घर के पास रहते थे तो जब हम छोटे थे तो उनको जानते थे कि वो एक अच्छी डांसर है और मुझे भी उनका नाम सुनकर बहुत अच्छा लगे। मुझे भी लगा कि मैं उनके पास जाऊंगी और उनके पास डांस सीखूंगी। उनका नाम तो वो अभी पद्मश्री अवार्ड भी ले चुके हैं, तो मेरा गुरु उनके बारे में मैं क्या बताऊं, वो हमारी माँ की तरह है।
The Uriya girls, when they dance beautifully. But it's only a waiting game until they get married. Once they get married, that's the end of it, and that's the end of the art. And so you can feel that they don't have that same purpose. In Ileana's case, it's the center of her life.
Ever since I've known her for the last 26 odd years, Ileana has taught me a lot in life, in the sense of, for the first time, I look back at my culture from very macro level. As an outsider would, she showed me a lot of nuances of our culture which I had taken a lot for granted. It's very true, her perseverance, her dedication, her devotion, I think is very unique even for any foreigner that I've met who's come to Odisha to learn dance.
I'm getting here the National Award for Best Choreography. This was in '96.
Ileana's craft resonated beyond the stage. Films came calling, and she did the film choreography for award-winning directors. But it was for Aparna Sen's Yugant that Ileana won the National Film Award for choreography. Though she is Italian by birth, her craft and knowledge of the Odyssey and Chow dance is comparable to the best of Indian dancers.
Actually, the Chow dance steps are very interesting. All the name of the steps of Chow are taken from the housewife chores, like Sindur Pinda, putting the Sindur, Sintapada, parting layers. And those action with the women does with the hands, we do with the legs. Everything is related to the daily life in dance.
While Ileana has given her life to Orissa, it has given her a home, lifelong friends, and her true self.
And I always felt comfortable here. Basically, I can say that I never felt either regret or homesick of Italy.
Many foreign dancers who came to India to study have now returned. She is among the very few who remain, and she has openly indulged her love for dance with unshakable commitment. Although she retains her Italian passport, only her skin is Italian. The rest of her is Oriya. The dancer has become part of the dance.